All right, guys, I'm here in Frisco, North Carolina, and I got fish notes coming at you. All right, so check it out. Let's talk about last weekend, guys. First of all, ice machine is installed at Marsteller, so no more hucking baskets for the foreseeable future. It's making good ice. We ought to be set for ice for the summertime, which we're all really excited about. Also, talk a little bit about last week. We sold a load of oysters, and just so you know, guys, we sold more oysters this year than we've sold in a long time, or ever at CB Crab Company. So, just to give you some numbers, we sold across all three retail locations and wholesale. We sold 46 bushels of clusters, 12 bushels of singles, 38 bushels of stumps, and a few Pamlico Sound oysters. So that's amazing, especially in March when oyster shells are going down. They probably will start petering down as the weather warms up a little bit. Remember, guys, oyster season ends March 31st. Also, we sold 34 dozen frozen crabs last week, which is awesome. Let's keep it up. We're running the same special again, 2 for 24. We're going to keep pushing this through right on through April. Okay, so moving into this week, we got a lot of great fish in the house, so we shouldn't have any problems in the fish department. We should have plenty of oysters, so we're sitting good in that regard. The specials for the week: first special, $12 a pound pasteurized backfin crab meat. We have a few of these left. We're trying to get through them so we can order some different types. New types of backfin. So we got about 40 some left in the house, I think. But so $12 a pound this weekend, all three retail locations. Frozen crabs, we're running those 2 for 24 again. And for Royal Reds this week, we're going to do 5 pounds of Royal Reds, $1 off per pound. In the email, we're going to highlight 3 items this week. First is mahi. Mahi coming out of Central America, but they're beautiful fish, same good company. Occasionally when we do get these mahi in, you'll see you'll cut a fish off the bone and either it's got a brown bloodline or whatever. Just make sure you trim any brown bloodline off the fish. Always do a good quality control check, because these fish this time of year they're spawning, so sometimes you'll get fish that are a little almost like a rubbery feel. If you don't feel good about selling them, check with Sean or Zach or Kenny or Tim. Get a second opinion, and we might have to chunk the fish up right off the bat. But just always be aware in mahi quality control checks. We also have plenty of triggerfish in the house. We're going to highlight triggerfish, and last but not least, we're going to do rose shad. Rose shad is a springtime thing. Happens in rivers from, I don't know how far they go up. I want to say New York all the way down through probably South Carolina. And they migrate out in the spring, and they're rowing, which means they have the eggs, and the eggs are a delicacy. And we're going to have, this week as our first round of them, we've got rose shad. We sell just the roe, and then we also sell the shad cut into steaks for a nominal price. It's a hard seller, but hey, if they put it on the counter, it's a good talking point. You can give people steaks to try, whatever you want to do. Shad is a bonier fish, so they need to be the meat. If you're going to eat the meat, it needs to be fried, usually fried hard, and you can soften the bones. But the roe itself is excellent. It's a real rich, delicate thing. People usually eat it with bacon and eggs in the morning. It's definitely a good dish. So we're going to highlight rose shad, mahi, and trigger. For this week's goals, I've been talking to Sean and Zach and Craig and Kenny and one thing we're trying to work better on is our logistics at Marsteller. We want to make sure we document all our retail subtractions on the whiteboard from the cooler inventory, and anytime frozen product gets taken out for a restaurant or goes to CB or goes to the Marsteller retail rack in the freezer, make sure you document on the freezer whiteboard. In terms of CB, I was trying to think of things. I'm definitely thinking how to put goals to our weekend notes, and I think this week's just do something kind of simple. I want to focus on asking customers questions about how they prepare and cook their seafood, especially for things like shad. If you get customers that are getting things that you don't know much about, make sure you ask them how they prepare it. What do they like about it? Because that, once you understand that, you've now got another piece of fish information to transfer to the next customer. So focus on that. And if you would, anyone, text me the most unique thing you find out about customers between now and next week. I want to know, especially, and you, Marsteller the same way, but CB especially, anyone that's in front of the customer, fishmonging as point guard or forward, ask questions of customers and text me what you find out so we can share knowledge. In terms of any products we have coming in this week that's new, we've got Rockfish. They just opened up the striped bass season in Albemarle, Pamlico Sound, so we're going to start getting those. We only ordered 50 pounds this week to get customers used to it. Well, hopefully next week we'll have a shot at some more fish for fillet. We're going to try to move these as whole. Got plenty of beeliners and triggerfish. We have a handful of snowy groupers that the beach has right now, and snowy grouper is one of the only groupers of deep water species. It's still open during typically when the reds and the gags and the blacks are closed till May 1st. The snowies stay open. We don't get a lot of them though. There's a 100-pound trip limit offshore, and they're hard to target. So anyway, we got a few. Let's see. I already talked to you guys about, with the company news. Jordan and Nathan had a great event at the aquaculture conference. If you're curious about anything that they talked about there or learned, ask Jordan, and Nathan, ask Nathan as well. Oyster season ends March 31st as a reminder, so you can mark that on your calendars. That's all I got for you this week, guys. We're getting down. I'm looking out right now at my window at the Pamlico Sound. As rough as a cob out here. We got about 90 crab pots out there, and we're gonna check them as soon as the wind lays down. Don't expect too much because the water's cold, but we're working on it. Anyway, guys, have a great weekend, and looking forward to hearing how it turns out. Thanks, guys.